Unlike cities in other parts of the province, around the Okanagan Valley, farmland makes up a lot of the area within our municipalities. In Kelowna, 55% of the property is farmland. So today, local politicians and other industry leaders got together, hopped on a bus to make sure they stay in touch with agriculture.
Today is really offering us that opportunity to get a glimpse into agriculture and into the wine industry, to understand what leaders are faced with our changing climates and labor markets, to know how we as leaders can best support them so that the industry can be more resilient into the future.
You don't want people saying you're out of touch. When's the last time you came out and talked to people in agriculture?
Well, I think any good Okanagan person speaks to a winery owner almost every week, Kent. But absolutely, food nourishes us and we can't take it for granted from a sustainability perspective. And I think just looking at the weather events we've faced over the past couple of years, whether it's the heat dome or the atmospheric river, it really speaks to the need to continually look at the sustainability of how we're feeding people in our region. And so very grateful to have experts with us today to show us some of those successes and challenges to overcome in the future.
So, Janae, you were, I guess, had a chance to spend some time with some local politicians, etc., on this tour. What sort of messages are you trying to deliver to them?
I think this morning we talked a lot about the challenges of farming in our area and all of the weather events that have been happening. So I think what happens with the fires of when we had all of the lack of tourism and how we sell our products. So what do we do as farmers when these things happen, and how do our elected officials help us going forward?
And so did you find this group was, wide open to hear what you had to say?
It was amazing. Yeah, it was really incredible to have such a great diverse group of elected officials that came out to my farm, and we walked around and we talked about all the different crops we grow, and they got their hands dirty. It was incredible. So yeah, really happy.
I know that extreme cold we had right near the start of the year has really hammered a lot of the vineyards up and down the Okanagan Valley. But what about the rest of the sort of agricultural portfolio?
Yeah, this year all of our crops made it through the winter pretty well. The year before we lost our peach crop. The year before we lost quite a few trees, but over the last winter, so for this crop, 2023, it did quite well. Half of what we grow is ground crops, so vegetables, and we plant those all in the spring, so worked out pretty well.
What did you learn today?
So what I really learned is to create resiliency in the market is we really have to support the agricultural community in finding different hubs to create revenues, whether that's agritourism so that people can stay on farms and understand how farming is done, or looking to value add products like Farming Karma has done with carbonated beverages, so that if the weather does turn and a crop this season doesn't turn out as well, they do have a different spoke in their wheels to support them from a revenue perspective. And so I believe as government we need to cut some of the red tape and look at how we can enable them to create revenues in different ways, so that in the face of climate change that those revenues are still there from a sustainability perspective.
All right. So, you didn't get to too many stops in half a day. You think you need more bus tours?
What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, no, I think it's incredible to get this many elected officials and community supporters out on the ground and checking out what these farms grow, because the agriculture in the Okanagan is so diverse. We grow so many different things, and everybody does something a little bit unique. So to be able to get out to all these different farms is I think, incredibly important for the people making the decisions.
I think sometimes we're stuck around a boardroom table or in council chambers, that it's equally as important to get out and speak to the folks that we're representing. So the more that we can get out and speak to different industries, whether it's agriculture or innovation, it really helps us from a decision-making perspective to understand where we need to advocate to higher levels of government.